stuff. I think you're saying a lot of people are looking for something to believe in. And
Yeah.
this is where I come in with regards to talking to a lot of different people like yourself, whether it be Catholicism, paganism, even just spirituality in general, people are starting to find
Yes.
themselves. And I think what we're finding, I found since I had my issue 5 years ago, is really finding your inner voice and finding exactly
Yes.
who you are and sort of shedding that. Everyone goes, oh, everyone
Right.
got a blood moon tonight. But we're funny enough, we're on a blood moon
I
tonight,
can't wait for it,
Oh,
to be
yeah,
honest.
I
Mum and I have
know.
4:11 a.m. tomorrow.
We'll talk about that later because I'm sure the spirits are
Yes.
talking during that. I can assure them
Oh,
that
trust
Halloween's
me.
coming up soon. So that'd be fine. But you can see a lot of people are looking for something to believe in, obviously, with everything that's happening in the world. Do you find
Oh,
that you get a lot of people asking for that and really looking for that little piece of happiness or that little piece of themselves, or they're really trying to, or
yeah.
they're actually sort of lost in some ways? And how are you
I
finding?
find
I
that,
know a lot of people go to psychics for I guess a little bit of
closure.
happiness or find someone.
Yeah.
What are you finding these days with people's ascensions?
Um, Guy, I just got goosebumps then. So a lot of the time, which is confirmation for me, a lot of the time people come to me for closure, just wanting to know where their loved ones are, where their
Yep.
life is heading, the things that they have to look forward to. I mean, a lot of people kind of get caught up in the 3D reality, right? So this is something that I
Yep.
talk about all the time, is the 5D consciousness, like the point of ascension. We're all stuck in a 3D realm at the moment, but we're ascending to a 5D. I spoke about it on one of my videos the other day, actually, but we're
Right.
all like a lot of people who are in a point of ascension at the moment. We're stuck at a crossroads because the 3D is leaving, but the 5D is not fully ready. So a lot of us are in the middle and we're kind of
Right.
just like, what do we do? Like, you've got government on one side of the world and nasty things happening that no one wants to
Yeah.
really, you don't want to acknowledge it, but you kind of have to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
we're essentially like, everything in life is pattern based. And I mean, we're obviously looking at a point here that's very timeline accurate and overlay with World War II. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's things happening collectively that actually can't be stopped, but they do help things move up on a ladder of like growth globally and
Yep.
coming together in peace. I mean, we're seeing, I'm getting goosebumps again. We're seeing a lot of that with the protesting at the moment.
Right.
That's just been amazing to see how much has been taken on board, and not a lot of it's been highlighted in the media because obviously media feed fear.
No,
But
that's exactly right. That's
there's
exactly
been
right.
a
Sorry
lot
to
of
cut you off there.
protesting. So
Yeah.
no,
Can,
you're
can,
right.
can I
There's
can I jump in on that one before if you don't mind? I just want to
yeah.
ask your opinion on that. Sorry to interrupt you. You're on a
No, you're
roll,
fine.
but I'm very interested in what you just said because you brought up the protests, you brought up the rallies.
Yes.
Everyone, if you see my stuff, I'm very pro human,
Pro. Yeah.
making sure people are well. We
Human
know what the
rights.
problem is. What do you feel?
Yeah.
Do you feel as because I mean, obviously, we all feel differently. You've got your superpowers, as I call it. Well, I
Yeah.
call it superpower. Everyone's got their own energy,
Yeah.
what they feel, and how they're going with things. What are you feeling at the moment with regards to what's actually happening? Do you feel it's an uprising? Do you feel there's going to be worse to come? What what
So
what what do you think? So you're excited as well. I
12
can see you
months
ready to go.
ago, I'm so excited. So 12 months ago, when all of this kind of started for me and things really like kicked off, was when my grandfather passed away. I basically got booted up the arse by him, which quote unquote I've been told to tell people that as to what he did with me.
It's not
So
all that.
when he passed away, I unconsciously like was fasting for probably like, so I got back from Indonesia, had a bit of a like, obviously the funeral and everything's happened. I started being able to hear him speaking to me, so I was
Right.
actually viewing the body with my mum, and I could hear him and feel him next to me. And I said to mum, I said, he's here in the room. And people thought I was joking, but I wasn't joking. And after this has all kind of gone down, the funerals happened and everything, I started unconsciously like fasting for about 3 or 4 days. I'd had nothing to eat, was completely like dehydrated, whatever, and went through that whole point of like full Kundalini awakening when the Christos in the brain, like obviously completely peaks. And I remember having this moment where I started hearing 1,000 voices at once. So everyone started coming through. It was so loud. I heard my grandfather come through, my grandmother. I remember ringing my mum on the phone and I was channeling them. and it was coming through at light speed, and I was just like blah blah blah, like rattling all this stuff off. Then like consciously tapped into my mum, felt her emotions over the phone, and I started crying when she started crying. So all of this
Wow.
stuff started happening to me, and I was freaking out because I was like, what is going on? So I got absolutely booted up the ass. And it's funny too, because I was with my best friend, and him and I have had previous lifetimes together. Him as my husband, him as my son. So the two of us have always come back in contact.
Okay.
So when this happened, it was three people in particular that have been a part of my life for many lifetimes, that we all met up again at the same point, and we all went through this ascension at the same time. And basically, I've already seen the light year speed of what's happening over the next like 10 years. So a lot of the stuff that's happening at the moment, people don't realize that this is actually a divide point with you've got people that consciously are aware, and then you've got people that aren't consciously aware. So we're in this point of divide right now where people stay stuck in the matrix over here with the non-ascension and the ignorance is bliss kind of factor. And then you've got a whole collective of people that have actually asked the deeper questions and won't kind of refrain when it comes to government. You know what I mean? Like they're the ones that are rallying. Pardon me, they're the ones that are rallying. That's confirmation. They're the ones that are rallying together for freedom of rights. You know, they're the ones showing up, doing the Gaza like walks for the Palestinian people. Sorry, they're the ones showing up, advocating for people online. They're also backing people online. Like it's still, even though it's not a physical presence, it's still very much like enforcing their belief in a positive manner. You know, like backing people and supporting them from a distance is still going to show just as much as being present, if not, you know, being able to support and be a volunteer and things like that. So there's a lot of work happening in a realm of charity, so to speak, but it's not even just giving time in a charitable sense, it's showing up as a human being to another human being in that interaction point, to show love and support. I
Yep.
think that's where the biggest thing is happening at the moment is people collectively looking at their past and assessing their behaviors. And those people that are doing the healing are the ones that are leveling up over the next 5 to 10 years. But this whole world, people are in for an absolute rude shock when things change, which I've been told is in the next 2 to 3 years. We're going to have a complete reform of government. Everything will be overturned that we know it, or as we've known it. There's a lot of tension between Russia and the United States. I've already seen what will happen there. Um, so I'm not going to go into detail, but
That's
like
okay.
there's major events that will happen that are going to shake the world as we know it. So, and obviously Mother Earth is very angry at the moment too. We've had a lot of tectonic plate movement.
Yep.
So those things will all come in a roundabout way of history when we had flooding. So that's just a bit of insight as to the tsunami factors and volcanic action. Like there will be a lot of land mass that we know that will actually no longer exist in probably the next 12 months. So
Wow.